When I left for Aruba, my backyard was mine. Legally, spiritually, emotionally. The pool sparkled. The grass glowed. The fence line was empty. Life was calm, chlorinated peace. 7 days later, I came home to a fence. Not along the border, not at the edge. Not a polite suggestion of a boundary. A full enclosure, wrapped tight around my entire backyard. And inside that fence, my pool. It wasn't my fence. It belonged to the neighbors. The ones with the dog that barks like it's testifying against me. The ones whose wind chime collection sounds like someone torturing scrap metal in a thunderstorm. The same neighbors who haven't spoken to me since the 4th of July potato salad incident of 2022, when a disagreement about dill ended in silence, suspicion, and Cold War-level stares across the property line. That was also the first time they claimed part of my pool deck might be on their land. They didn't just take a corner. My entire backyard was behind their fence. The pool, the grass, the walkway, even the grill. My pool float was drifting behind enemy lines. From the moment I stepped inside, it felt like a hostage situation. The back door and sliding glass panels that once opened onto sun and sky now faced pressure-treated pine. No yard, no view, just the grim wooden face of a territorial insult. I walked to their front door and knocked. No answer. I rang the bell. Nothing. But inside, whispers, footsteps. The dog barking like it was giving covering fire. So I left a note. Hi, I think you may have accidentally enclosed my pool and backyard. Please call me. They didn't. The next morning, a no trespassing sign was zip-tied to the gate. Their gate. Their fence. Around my yard. Day 3. Splashing. Laughter. I peeked through the slats. They were in my pool. Reclining. Drinking. The husband waved from my patio chair like I was interrupting his vacation. I called the police. The responding officer looked skeptical. Until he saw it, he stood beside me, staring through the locked gate as the neighbors floated by, sipping canned cocktails like smug pirates. You're saying they fenced you out of your own pool? I am. He walked the property, took photos, knocked on their door. They emerged from the water with the relaxed entitlement of people who believe laws are for other people. This is our land now, the husband said, adjusting his towel like a Roman senator. Do you have proof of ownership? The officer asked. We don't need proof, the wife replied. We have presence, and we don't recognize corporate municipal claims. The officer turned to me. As absurd as this is, it's a civil matter. You'll need to take it to court. So they can just throw a fence around my yard, swim in my pool, and it's fine. Unless you can prove criminal trespass with clear documentation, he said, already mentally filling out a resignation letter. I'll file the report. The rest is up to civil court. Day 4. I hired a lawyer. He didn't believe me. I told him to come over. He did. He swore. Then he said, you're going to need everything. Deed, survey, photos, tax records. The original contractor, your kindergarten diploma. If you can find it. These people aren't confused. They're running on vibes and conspiracy. Day 5. The surveyor arrived, laughed out loud, drew a red line across a satellite photo. They took your whole backyard, he said. Not a corner, not an inch, all of it. We sent them a certified letter demanding removal. Their response? A court summons. They summoned me. They took my land, used my pool, sunned themselves on my furniture, and then had the gall to drag me into court like I was the intruder. The sheer audacity. I wasn't just angry, I was incandescent. The kind of fury that peels paint off siding, that they could be so shameless, so convinced of their own fantasy, and then treat me like the criminal. It was no longer about property lines. It was about principle. It was, what? In court. In court, They arrived with binders labeled Land Truths and Private Jurisdiction Theory. Inside were crayon-colored maps, printed memes, printouts from a MySpace page, and something that looked suspiciously like a treasure map drawn on a napkin. There was also a page titled Founding Father Vibes with a stock photo of George Washington giving a thumbs up. Their legal strategy appeared to involve vibes, patriotism, and what might have been an expired gift certificate to Chili's. They argued the land was ungoverned, that fences could be re-established by occupancy, and that local law did not apply to backyard sanctuaries. They cited a document called the Backyard Magna Carta, which appeared to be laminated and written in Comic Sans. The judge raised an eyebrow. "Do you have a permit for the fence?" he asked. "Permits are not required in spiritual zones," said the husband. "What kind of zone is this?" "A sovereign domestic holding," the wife said, unfurling a scroll with ribbon like she was about to knight herself. The judge gave a dry, unimpressed laugh, the kind that said he'd seen everything, from sovereign citizens to flat earthers. But this was his first laminated napkin constitution. "Enough," he said, voice firm as steel. "This isn't a Renaissance fair. It's a courtroom. You are not nobility. You are trespassers." He turned to his clerk. "Please note for the record that both defendants have demonstrated willful disregard for property law, public codes, and basic shared reality." The husband tried to object. The judge silenced him with a single look. "You built a fence around someone else's home. You swam in their pool. You drank on their patio. Then you marched into my courtroom armed with a crayon manifesto, a ribbon scroll, and the legal logic of a Scooby-Doo villain." He turned to me. I had it all. The deed, the survey, closing photos, utility maps, tax records, even the original contractor and previous homeowner, who testified like a man wronged by time itself. Every step, I had to prove the obvious. That what was clearly mine had always been mine. Being right wasn't enough. I had to be documented. Full removal of the fence, the judge ruled. Damages awarded, legal costs reimbursed. Then, looking back at them, contempt of court, criminal trespass charges, orders of protection. If you so much as hang a wind chime in this man's direction again, I will see you back here in shackles. A week later, the fence was gone. The grass exhaled, the pool sparkled. The sky returned. The neighbors retreated behind their curtain of chaos. I never got an apology, but I did get my pool float back. I kept it, and I named it